Time being 6 o'clock, we'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Sherry. Don.
Here.
Wanda. Here. Dan.
Here.
Joe.
Here. This time, does anybody have a reason to abstain for financial or non-financial conflict of interest?
I
Have
do.
none.
I do. I cannot vote on the supplemental claims because one of those claims was for my expert in a case.
We're just gonna take that out. We're gonna have a separate motion.
Okay.
So
No. Other than that, no.
I have none. Approval of the agenda, there is a change right off the bat. Item 13 is canceled. Any other changes to the agenda? That I'd entertain a motion.
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. At this time, if anyone would like to make a public comment, we would invite you to step forward. Hearing and seeing none, public comment is closed. And we've got the first medical dispensary license up for 6:10, so we have about 7 minutes before we can begin that.
Do the plats.
We're gonna move on to, plats, I was thinking.
Oh, hey, Mr. Chair, why don't we do Cody's and
Cody's
get him
here.
on the road
That's
so he
fine.
doesn't have to be our helmet.
So we are on item,
Yeah, I would prefer
12.
that if we could.
12.
item 12.
Mine won't take long, I promise.
Yeah.
So it's more of a courtesy to let you know that we're going to be starting to solicit funds for a new DAV van. We're not gonna get it this year. We'll put it on the order for next year. So we'll order it in a year. Probably take 2 years from there. This one only has 87,000 miles on it. It's 10 years old. It's been maintained, so we're good. It's not county property, but I'm just letting you know that we are looking at replacing it and that we will be soliciting. And since it is part of my function to be in charge of it, I thought, hey, you should know, probably gonna be working to sell some tickets in that, so.
Okay.
We're looking at possibly up to $20,000 is what it's gonna cost for a new vehicle. But there will be matching funds made by the DAV Chapter 1 out of Sioux Falls and the state DAV, and then there's also a national grant that's possible. So that national grant brings it down to the 20,000. So I looked at it, the vehicle we were looking at is about 55,000 on the lot. So to get it for 20 grand is a good deal.
Are you gonna get something similar we have now?
Looking at the options there's a 12 passenger van, which I feel like is an overkill. Usually we have about anywhere from 1 to 3 people on the vehicle, so a 12 passenger is way more than we need. So otherwise, the other vehicles that were available, there was only one that's really, I think it's in the packet there of the different vehicles that were options. All of them are rear wheel drive, except for the Explorer, 4-wheel drive Explorer. So that's really the only option we have, because in South Dakota, we all know how the rear wheel actually turns out. So it's not a good idea to have with the ice and that.
You know, I drive the DAV van sometimes and I could really appreciate an all-wheel drive vehicle sometimes. So.
It's our only option. So it's more expensive, but Mac is the one. Mac is part of a committee that currently holds the checkbook for that. They haven't told me the amount, But we do have enough money, they said, to be able to get another vehicle, but we still want to keep fundraising. The way I understand it is once we get the new one in, this one we can sell. The title for this one is underneath somebody else, but supposedly they'll let us sell it. And then that money just goes back in there. So any other questions? Took longer than I planned.
Nope, that's fine.
Thanks,
Nope.
Cody.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. I think we'll just move down to item 18, approval of meeting minutes from December 17th. I don't think we'll get through all the plats.
I'll move approval of the minutes. of
Second.
the December 7th meeting.
Move for approval by Don, seconded by Wanda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And we'll just go through claims. We'll just kind of knock through those next items until 6:10. So if we want to start with claims as noted, I think if the motion were to approve claims except for the supplemental court claims for $5,000, we can approve that and then we can do that court claim as a separate line item. Does anybody have questions on claims?
I could make a motion to approve the court claim of $5,000.
Why don't you mention Harmon Lake Fox? Isn't that the name?
It's actually payable to Dr. Catherine Cranebrook, who was an expert in State versus Robert C. Peterson, criminal file 20-124.
Okay,
Make a motion to pay that claim.
Second.
Motion by Clemish, second by Don to pay the supplemental claim of $5,000 for courts. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So then we would need a motion to just approve the remaining of the claims.
I would move to approve the balance of the claims in the amount of $16,990.27.
no, it's more than that.
It's
700 and something, I think.
Well, I just took off the 5,000.
that's just the supplemental. And then we have the
It's the
rest that's in the, oh, yeah, that.
the 5,000 is off the 801,924.60.
I don't think we have that.
I
That
don't.
Oh,
know.
this is
I
with the
don't have
new,
Yeah.
the ones that came in late.
$796,924.60.
We usually don't
We don't
have
put
the,
the
the
amount
the
in.
amount. I would just, if the motion would be just make a motion to pay the remainder of the claims and don't put a dollar amount on it. I think that would be best.
Is that your motion?
I'll make that motion since apparently there's a monetary dispute.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Fox, second by Clemish to pay the remainder of the claims. All those in favor say. Whoop.
Comment.
Yep.
I'd just like to make note that the highway department apparently was very busy in the fall because they had some large claims.
There's some big bills there, yes.
They did a lot of work that they got done in the last month of the year,
That
November.
That's a
nice
different
weather
claim.
really helped us
Yeah.
out. It really
They did a
did.
great job.
Okay. So all those in favor of approving the claims, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So with that, it's 6:10 now. We're gonna bounce back to item 5, medical cannabis dispensary application A to Z LLC. Sparkle. Okay,
Good evening.
evening. Looks like application for dispensary.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to tell us location and I guess the background or a little bit?
Location is located on Highway 81 and 46, about 14, 15 miles north of Yankton. Right now, I do have a fireworks wholesale business and I sell fireworks seasonally there. It went very well and it's going very well. I did have a gas station that opened up. However, coronavirus hit at that time and I'm not able to find help, so it's temporarily closed. And I think this would be a good opportunity. It's a convenient location for ongoers to stop on, buy and get medicine they need or forgot on their way home, or pick up for a family get together. It's also far away from the school districts and possibility of adolescent loitering. Furthermore, the DOT station is across the street, which adds another layer of security to the premises. Most importantly, I think it's a great business that won't ruin lives and but be therapeutic.
There any questions for the applicant at this time?
No,
And then
I have,
Deposit's been paid, correct?
Yes, sir.
I have a comment on hours of operation. And in your hours of operation, it says 9 to 9. I think it's 8 to 8 in our ordinance, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
That would be,
Just,
I would go according to law. and
you're right.
regulations.
Other than that, I think for now I'll close this for public and open it up to public comment. Unless you have anything else you want to say at the time.
No, sir.
Okay. You can have a seat if you would like.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
With that, is there anybody who'd like to make public comment on this application?
Good evening. I guess I'm here to speak in favor of this application.
Yep.
For a
Can
couple
I
of
pause you for 1 sec? Can you state your name for the record?
Dale Hibda.
Thanks, Dale.
The location is on the far end of Yankton County. We don't know what Hutchinson County is necessarily going to do with theirs. I think it could potentially be an additional revenue draw from a close adjoining county, just based upon where he's going to be. I've known Mike for a little over a year. He's a hardworking young man, very motivated, and I just think it would be a positive location for a dispensary.
Thank you. Any more comments on this application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close public comments, bring it back to the board for discussion. It's gonna pull up our licensing requirements, but I think it would be beneficial to us to just go through those requirements. It looked at my review that he had met all the requirements of the application. One question I do have, Deb, maybe it's for you. I maybe could ask Mike. Do you have an active liquor license there? Okay.
Sorry, Deb, what was your question? Your microphone's not on.
I just want to know if you had any other, I mean, I know he has a fireworks. You don't have an off sale or any,
No, I did. About 2 years ago, but that is not correct. And Department of Revenue.
Okay, so if we quick kind of highlight his application, I guess. Scroll through. Looks like it's going to be located commercial district. Background check has been provided, as well as application fee. Looks like a fairly thorough operation plan and training procedure, security procedure. Talks about operation hours, facility storage, management, hiring, employee expectations and training. And again, the state's going to go through most of these requirements more so than us. I think we're looking at location. That's probably our main concern as far as ordinance goes. Anybody have any comments or questions? Board level? If not, I'd entertain a motion. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. That's in some of these, but not in all of them.
could be one in each one, except if they're doing multiple ones.
Okay,
There's probably one per applicant in that one.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got them all here with the application. Yeah.
okay. I didn't see it in this packet.
And that's the form we have to send to the state.
Okay,
Is that this one?
Form E,
It's in the packet.
it is.
Well, I'm looking at it.
Okay. I must have missed that one. Okay, so I got Form E here, Section 2, ordinance compliance. Are there ordinances limiting the number of medical cannabis establishments within the jurisdiction? And our answer is yes. How many of each establishment type are allowed by ordinance? We have 10 of each. So for dispensary, there's 10 available.
What's the effective date? November 5th.
November 4th. Okay, November 4th is the effective date. And are there zoning ordinances in effect relating to medical cannabis establishments? Yes. Is the proposed location in compliance with zoning ordinances pertaining to medical cannabis? Yes, it's in the commercial district. Does the jurisdiction require the applicant to obtain any local permits, licenses, or registrations pertaining to medical cannabis? We do require a license. And have you obtained required local permits, licenses, registrations pertaining to medical cannabis?
You won't mark.
We
that
can't
one.
answer that until we vote. So with that, I would entertain
I would move to approve the application of Mike Barker for A to Z LLC.
I'll second that motion.
motion by Wanda, second by Dan to approve A to Z LLC's dispensary application. Roll call vote, please.
Wanda,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. I don't know on this, how do we want to fill this up?
Patty's doing it,
Okay,
and then you'll sign it.
just, all right.
There isn't a place for signature.
There's something on the back.
There's a second up top.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So with that, that'll be passed on to the state and good luck. Right on time. Time being 6:20, we will now hear the dispensary, cultivation and manufacturing application for Happy Flower Healing Incorporated.
Come up to the podium. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Amy Johnson. I'm Amanda Johnson.
Mike Feimer.
And we have applied for all 3 licenses. As a former nurse, I've just seen the great benefits of cannabis, and so really excited to have this opportunity.
Okay.
Open it up for do you have questions or?
Anybody on the board have questions?
No, you guys are doing you
Yeah,
guys are doing 3 then. Okay.
all 3, yeah.
We treat this like 3 different applications then, and there's 3 different fees, one for each one of those, so.
Yeah.
That's my only question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Where are you going to get your seeds?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that everybody's kind of wondering that,
That's something that you'll need to lead us on as that gets figured out, correct?
It's kind of a gray area.
That's.
Yeah, I think it's,
At this point, it has to be, Valley and I were actually on a town hall meeting. It has to be grown in South Dakota.
From what? Immaculate Conception?
It doesn't really specify it.
I know.
will there be more that comes out about with that, or?
We figured the state would have more information as they approve things.
They're
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
What?
that might
Oh.
be Ned.
yep.
That's Troy. It's
This is Troy. I'm I'm not there, but I'm on the Zoom. Yeah, I talked to Gino about this, and he said the man in charge of the state licenses, and he said it's a gray area and they've got to nail it down more, but he really couldn't tell me exactly as of 2 weeks ago
Troy.
how we're going to do that.
When I was in Pier last week, I'm on the executive board for the county commission. There are no less than 50 bills dealing right now with marijuana, all the way from kicking it back and making it all illegal, all
Yeah.
the way to full
Yeah.
recreational
Yep.
and everything in between.
Yeah.
And there's more every day.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
we can't, I guess we can't answer that, but in front of us right now is the applications
Mhm.
that are here. So.
Excellent question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
However we're supposed to do it, we'll do
Yeah.
it.
I don't have any further questions for them, Mr. Chairman.
Do we need to do 3 hearings?
Yeah.
Or just 3 motions? Okay. Okay.
So which one should we start with?
Well, we gotta take public comment and then have some discussion, but if there's no more questions for the applicants, you guys can sit down. Does anybody like to make public comment on the application? Any one of them? Hearing and seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion. Looks like a pretty thorough application, site plan. The one thing I wanted to note on the application pages, it's checked that it's in a municipality. And I just want to make sure we're clear that it's not within the municipality. It's in the county.
And I think they'll be reconfirmed that as well.
Yeah. On this application, it's marked that it's located in a municipality. But we're outside of city limits and not within the ETJ. So just so for the record, we're clear on that.
ETJ is the extraterritorial jurisdiction for those who don't know.
So outside of that, I didn't have any more discussion. Here again, we'll go through section 2 of Form E. That'll go to the state. Same answers, essentially, yes. Ordinance is limiting the number of medical cannabis establishments within the jurisdiction. There's 10 cultivating, 10 manufacturing, and 10 dispensary available. Effective date is November 4th of the ordinance. There are zoning ordinances relating to the medical cannabis establishments. The proposed location is in compliance in a commercial district. And we do require local licenses to be obtained, and that's what we're doing today. So with that, if there's any other discussion, I would hear it. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion for any one of the applications.
Guess I'd move approval of the cultivation application.
Second.
Motion from Clemish, second by Wanda for the cultivation licensing application. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Dan,
Yes.
Wanda,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes. Motion passes for cultivation. Entertain a motion for either dispensary or manufacturing licensing.
Ladies first.
I would move the approval of the application for license for a dispensary.
Motion for approval dispensaries are second.
I'll second that motion.
Motion in a second. Further discussion. Roll call, please.
Wanda,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes. Motion passes for dispensary, and we are looking for manufacturing license.
Don, you want in on this?
No.
I would make a motion to approve the manufacturing application.
Second.
Motion by Clemish, second by Wanda for manufacturing approval for Happy Flower Healing. Roll call vote, please.
Dan,
Yes.
Wanda,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes, motion passes for all three. So this, at the local level, you're approved for licensing. This will get passed on. You send this to the state, correct, Patty? So this will be passed on to the state. And do you know who contacts who?
Valerie, do you know, did it say if they contacted us, the state, after we send this to the state?
I send it to the state and then.
Okay. Is there a hearing at the state level? Do you know?
It's so. We send ours and it's up to them when they can apply to the state. They have to, just so they know. Because it came after the date in October, they have 90 days from our effective date to apply to the state. So. What did we say, Valerie? February 4th, correct? Yeah. That's their 90 days that the state has required.
Okay.
So anyone who's here tonight has to have their state application in within 90 days of November 4th.
Should we tell Mr. Barker?
I was gonna ask if you can, Valley, can you make sure Mike Barkel's aware of that? Thank you. Or whoever.
That's a state requirement. Now,
Current state required.
not with us. We-
With the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to-
You will need to contact them. No, we're gonna keep it until the 3rd of February.
We'll send this,
We only send form. Everything that you give us, if the state requires it, you have to send it again.
Yep.
We don't do
It-
that.
Yeah, it's important to know this is a new process. We don't know all the requirements from the state, and as I guess as far as we're concerned, this is on you from here on out. So good luck to you guys.
okay, time being 6:31, we will now hear the application for medical cannabis dispensary, application for Route 52.
I'm Kristen Kozak. I'm Lauren Soka, and we're applying for a license on Lakeside Commercial. 4002 West 8th Street.
Dispensary, correct. Okay.
Move your microphone. Some of us are old.
Where should we have it? Can you hear? Do we have questions for us at all?
Just so I'm clear, the building is not yet built, correct? Yet,
Yeah.
correct?
No, it's not.
Okay.
We do have floor plans we didn't include in the application for security reasons, but if you want to see that, we could bring copies. I'm not sure if that's something you needed or.
I don't need to see the floor
Okay.
plan at this point, I guess. 'Cause I think you kind of went through.
Very deep, very detailed. I thought it was excellent application.
Thanks.
Do you have a time frame on when you looking to open?
Well, they can't lay the foundation until probably March, so as soon as they can get it built and all ready to go.
Probably 6 to 8 weeks. And
Yeah.
then May, June timeframe.
Okay,
Bill, they don't have a building permit or anything yet?
We
they?
do.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have that.
Okay.
He has the building.
He has
permit,
it.
Sorry.
180 days with the building permit, very important, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. I don't have any other questions.
That's done. Okay, if you'd like to sit down,
Okay, thank you.
I will open it up to public comment. Does anybody here have any comments to make on the application for Route 52?
This isn't public comment, but I wanted to bring something to your, I thought initially there was a requirement they had to be so far from a residential district. Deb said there isn't, because we didn't think we'd have them in residents, but with this area, it's so close to residential districts, I didn't know if that was something you wanted to consider. Because Lakeside Commercial is bordering all this residential district. Just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that. I don't think there's any residences in there, but they're gonna be really close to a residential.
Sure.
That might be something that needs to be addressed.
And we've ran into issues with other things with that. It's difficult when with one jurisdiction borders another that are very dissimilar. It's hard to rule if something's allowed in the location. It's hard to rule because across the road it's not, but it's something that certainly can be taken into a factor, talked about.
I just want to make sure everybody was
Right.
And Bill and I had talked about it. I mean, there was an option to put it so far from residences and
It's not.
that was not part of it because
Right.
you were limiting where it was going to be a permitted use.
Right.
But again, without taking into account that some either are dual zoned, for example, or are right alongside the border of a residential district.
Yeah, one of the other applications is
Further away.
close to- Well, really close to residences too, because it's kind of a hodgepodge.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
You know, this area is too, you've got commercial, rural transitional, residential, and lakeside commercial, all basically touching each other, so.
I'll hold our discussion for, is there any public comment on this application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close public comment, bring it back to the board. I don't have any concern with the location, relation to a residence, I guess.
No, I mean, it's a lakeside commercial district, it's,
There's a lot of different uses within that zone, so.
I'd make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
Okay, for further discussion, I want to quick go through our Form E. It's gonna be the same as all of the other ones, but yes, there's ordinances limiting dispensary to 10 of them effective November 4th. There are zoning ordinances relating to medical cannabis establishments. They are in compliance. They are required to obtain a license, which is what we're sitting here doing tonight. And if there's no more further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote and see if they have one. Roll call, please.
Dan,
Yes.
Wanda,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes. Motion passes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. We've got 3 minutes before we can hear the next one, but I think we can. I don't think we're gonna move on to another topic right now.
Was I maybe gonna, having Polly gonna come tonight or something?
Yeah,
As far as I know.
he's in the
Okay.
lobby.
You got time? No, we got
No.
one more application to hear. While we're killing time, I'll read through what our ordinance here has. It's action by county commission upon receipt of completed application, fees. Auditor will present to the commission on the next regular scheduled meeting. And we'll have a hearing within 45 days. Publication is put into the paper. This is for, I'm killing 2 minutes. This is for
Oh,
We were,
medical.
Mike, we
application.
were looking at all the money you spent on the highway last month. Got a lot of work done, I think.
and it's the end of the year, right, Mike?
So just a little more marijuana discussion then. As we go forward, so what would happen? You're counting now how many you've approved.
Mhm.
this batch has to go to the state within the 90 days. After that, it's on a rolling first come, first serve
Sure.
for the rest of them. We're not gonna hit the 10. So, we'll continue to accept applications and continue to hear them until we would hit the 10.
So I actually had a question on that because the city's
They did it differently.
right.
They did a lottery and they did it in that first set. So then the state actually, they sent all the applications that they approved. And then from those applications, the state will do a lottery for their 2.
They're giving 5.
They sent 5, they only.
They told me,
authorized 2.
Ross told me they're doing 5.
The city's gonna go to 5?
That's what they said. I don't know.
Well, so in our situation, if Wanda's applicant 10, I'm applicant 11. Will
If,
will you receive mine and we just won't do the hearing? And then if somebody either,
correct,
okay,
yep.
Doesn't start theirs or.
Yep, and so Valley is, as they come in, she's marking
What
date,
number they are.
time, and what number they are.
okay, well, we have time 6:41. So we will go back to regular scheduled program here. We've got cannabis cultivation facility application for River Bend Edge LLC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nate Eastman, currently own Riverbend Contracting, owner operator, active member of the Yankton community, lived here for almost 12 years. We're applying for a cultivation facility license at 3300 West 8th Street. It's in the Lakeside Commercial District, Suite 2. So there is some other businesses located in the building.
Is that in that little strip mall?
Correct.
Okay.
And as far as I'm under the understanding, I reached out to Gino Adams from the state, and he advised me that, according to their team, that would be an acceptable facility. Other than that, any questions for me?
I do not have any at this time.
I asked my one question.
I think it's a little strip mall you're thinking of. It's in the building that used to be the Honda. Is it the Honda?
Yeah, the old antique mall.
Yeah, the big building with the physical therapist, not the little strip mall.
Not the little strip mall, the
Medium strip mall.
the larger place with the
Physical therapist. They do
That
have
guy.
a conditional, it's in Lakeside Commercial, but they did get a commission or a conditional use to have a living quarters above the therapist, which at this point in time, the therapist has the lease on both the living quarters and the physical therapy commercial lease.
Okay.
And no one lives there permanently. They use it as a weekend type of summer getaway.
And I know you had contacted me and regarding that as well with the physical therapist next door. So I'm trying to find right in here our verbiage.
I don't think that person can prescribe. So I think he's okay.
Yep.
We actually limited it though, so it's in.
Trying to find, so it can be within 1,000 feet of a school, can be within 400 feet of a child welfare agency, place of worship, inpatient alcohol or drug treatment facility or
It's
playground.
6D.
Past that.
Yeah, it's, well, it's section 8, sorry.
Oh.
It's section 8D.
Can't share office space with,
Right.
Prescriber.
and this
There we
has its own Ingress and egress, separate lease, separate utilities. So there's no shared office space in this facility.
So what D reads verbatim is no medical cannabis establishment may share office space with a medical, psychiatric, counseling, chiropractic, or physical therapy office. So with that, I'll go ahead and take, is there any more questions, I guess, or do you have any other comments?
No.
Okay, I'll take, anybody care to make public comment on this application? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll close public comment, and bring it back to the board for discussion.
Do you own that building?
No, it's owned by Tim Bender,
Okay.
which I put a letter in the application. He's approved what's going to be going on in the facility.
Does it fit within the definition of office space?
I'm sorry, Don.
Shared office space.
In my opinion, it's not shared office space. I know
Shared building space.
shared
maybe.
building space, and I know there's some communities or counties that, do not allow facilities to operate in like a strip mall for that reason. But as far as shared office space, I would say it would meet the definition that is not shared office space.
There's not access from the physical therapist into this at all. It's just outside access.
Correct.
There's
Yeah.
no, okay.
It's a shared parking lot. Otherwise, they're all separate ingress, egress into the locations. No doors join into the other facilities.
So with that, I would entertain a motion, I guess.
I'd move to approve the application for a license for a medical cannabis cultivation facility by Riverbend Edge LLC.
Second.
Motion by Wanda, second by Dan to approve the cultivation facility. Any further discussion?
Can I ask Bill one question?
No.
So the other thing that we need to look at is G.
G as in goat.
Yes, so yes. So as you're dealing with, so these would be two that are on Highway 52.
That's G's dispensary though.
Yep, but I just
Okay,
want you guys to be aware, as they're putting these in,
Yeah,
make sure that
They're far apart.
whoever is gonna keep track of, okay, this
The
is,
question is it from the property line or from the building? On the property. When we do the drainage permits, we do property lines.
I would say from buildings typically.
We're talking about where you gotta be 400 feet from another dispensary or a
Right.
place that sells
Yeah,
alcohol.
and it wouldn't
Yeah.
affect you.
Yeah.
But we're just. as a
Discussing it,
whole,
sure.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that.
start keeping track, so to speak.
Yep.
I think that's a
Have to
bill
do
job.
Another GIS layer.
We'll just
Might
have to
have to.
remember, I don't know if we need to add that
How
to
serious
the
that might not be a bad idea.
application form. Or the checklist, are they?
That might be good because we might get applications in and you hate to have somebody spend that money and they're automatically
We could,
disqualified.
we could, and have you seen the overlay map that like Rapid did?
No.
Where they have the areas and then they're marking where they're going?
Yeah. Well, when you look at where they can potentially go, I mean, they're all strips, so you gotta,
Mhm.
at some point, somebody's going to be coming close to somebody else.
Right.
Certainly.
We'll bring it back to the board. The only further discussion I had is just a comment that this is cultivation and not a dispensary. And so I guess even if there was some kind of concerns with the physical therapy, I think that was more geared towards dispensary, so physical therapist isn't sending their customers next door type of deal. So because this is cultivation and not a dispensary, it puts that a little bit more at ease.
There should be no consumption whatsoever where in your location, it's strictly
Correct.
growing.
With that, I would take a roll call vote, please, Patty.
Wanda,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sherry picked a good one.
Mhm.
Okay, if I can find where I'm at. Okay, so we're gonna move on to item 9, 650, right on time. IMEG bridge inspections. Come on up, boys.
Lou. Busy, Adam.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Prather. This is Adam Polly. And then we're gonna go through the 2021 bridge inspections. This year, there's only 8 bridges inspected. Now the county has a total of 71. It's the off year. So we only do certain bridges that Mike has us do or that are annual. Just a couple stats. The average replacement cost of the bridges would be around $1 million, 1.1. And if you got the 20% share with the big program, that's about how much each structure would cost. And then if you came into $33 million, you could replace all of them. As far as the sufficiency ratings go, 50 of them are in good condition, which is pretty good, 70%. 17 are in fair, and 4 of them are in poor.
It's a lot better than a few years ago.
And the average sufficiency rating across the entire county is 75. So it's not bad. All right, so like I said, we're gonna touch on all 8 bridges that we looked at this year. First structure here, Stone Church Bridge, 6803-018. I'm sure you guys know where this one's at, but 7.2 miles north, 1 mile east of Lesterville. Yeah, and this structure is actually under design right now. There's some photos of it. You can see that right photo there, how it's deteriorating away.
You guys do this bridge every year. I mean, have you noticed degradation from last year? You know, we all know it's in bad shape, but does it continue to be visibly in worse shape?
Yes, I wouldn't say significantly. But I could say, yeah, you can see the deterioration here.
On borrowed time.
Mhm. It's more deterioration there than the posting there on the right. And then here's a couple of our recommendations. Structure's nearing the end of its life, and then post at 11/13, which it is. Next structure will be the Jamesville structure, 68-076-048. 8.1 miles north, 0.5 miles east of Utica. I think you guys are all aware of where this structure is at. There's a few photos of the findings. Like I said, this year we didn't find much. I mean, everything was kind of the same, as nothing deteriorated further. So it was a good year for the bridges. Guess it wasn't a flood either this year. You see how this one's starting to show its age in the bent caps. It's not as far as Stone Church is, but. On that picture on the left is the bent cap repair. I actually came down and did the inspection on that. That's when the flood came through, and there's a big piece of concrete that spalled out right underneath that bearing. And that's holding up pretty well. No more deterioration, and the weight limit sign on the right. Just a couple repairs on this one. Just the debris in the bent caps would help it not deteriorate as fast. And then, yeah, the structure is starting to show its age, and then continue to post it at 2431, which it is. Next structure will be the Johnson Bridge, 6.4 miles east, 1 mile north of Utica. Again, I think everyone kind of knows where the structure's at. If not, I can pull up a map for you guys. Couple photos of it.
That hole, is that rust hole or what is that?
No, this was a hole. It looked like it was drilled out. This happened before we were even inspecting it. I think it was just a crack tip.
Correct.
Kind of like on the next picture, the ones we replaced with these bolted splices about 4 or 5 years ago.
Did you?
I don't know if it's been that long ago. That
It was
last
20
2 years ago. wasn't it?
2018, wasn't it?
2018, so 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Now, did you do that on all 4 of them, or did you just do that on the 3 that were cracked? You don't recall. do you?
So that is on 4 of them.
All 4.
Yeah. Because we had the 3 that all happened at the one time, and then we had the one that came later.
And they look like they're holding up pretty well.
Yep, those are holding up very well. Showing a little bit of deterioration again. In the weight limit sign. Repair recommendations, consider installing those bolt splices at all locations. There's a little bit of undermining at the abutment on the west side, and then continue to post at 2432, which it is.
What's the score on this one?
Next score is sufficiency.
Well, either or.
Sufficiency is
okay.
62.9, so it'd
Okay.
still actually be considered a good structure based on
Right.
the DOT standard of sufficiency.
If we looked at doing the bolted splices and some of that repair, it would not change the load rating, correct?
No,
Because that's due to just the design of it.
so I'm gonna tap you for this one, but we can maybe do cover plates. I don't know.
Yeah, it's due to the size of the girders or the spacing. Between the columns.
It's not the condition of the bridge itself, it's the design of the bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if the county was to look into doing all the splices to prolong the life, spending all that money, we would want to look into if and how we could raise the weight.
How many splices could be added to that? You know, I know you say add, how many?
I think there's 24 total.
Oh, wow.
So there's somewhere.
I counted 20, but yeah, 2024.
There's no way to add, you know, like you were getting to, I think, add additional support to raise the limit on there.
We don't know yet. The scope of our load rating for bridge inspections is fine. We're just looking at making sure it's safe and making sure we extend the life. To actually get down to where we would need to beef up the girders would require more and on. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions on this?
No, thank you.
All right, next one, Fleeks Bridge. Just right here, east of town. Insufficiency on that one is 45.8. Couple photos of it. There was that splice. That one might have been in 2019. That was more recently that one cracked.
What's the collision doing? How long's that? Mike, how long's that been there?
Ever since we've been around, yeah.
What is it? Live?
Was that, wasn't you, wasn't it, Scott?
Then here are the repair recommendations, little debris built up on the abutment sills and the vents. Damage to the wing wall, you could probably patch that, but it's not a big deal. Then continue to post the structure at 2433. I see that you guys have it at 2440 with the one truck right now, which passes the load rating, so that's fine also.
When did you do this inspection?
Would have been in July. End of July.
Okay, so it would have been after we increased the limit on that.
No, it was before.
So before.
And then, yeah, this one is in the preliminary engineering grant stage. We're currently designing the preliminary engineering on it. Now we'll move to others. The other 4 structures we inspected this year were either replaced with corrugated metal pipe and taken off the list, or they were replaced with new structures. So here's the first one, 024008. That one's up on a county road in the northwest corner. It was a steel girder bridge, and then Mike took it out and put in 3 6-foot CMPs. So it's brand new. 68070158, 2.8 miles south of Utica. It's another brand new structure built in 2020. It's a 50-foot single span steel girder bridge. Yeah. You can see there, she's brand new. Another one here, 68137088. Another exact same steel girder bridge, 2.8 miles south, 10 miles west of Irene. Built this year. This one's just north of that Johnson Bridge, about 5 miles. And then the last structure here was another 3 6-foot CMPs. This one also has been removed from the structure list. 4 miles north, 8.5 miles west of Irene. Nice picture of those. And that's all I have. You guys have any questions?
I have a question. You said the average sufficiency rating was 75.1.
Mhm.
That's a very misleading figure. You got 4 major bridges that cost millions to repair, and you throw 4 culverts in and average them up. To me, it's misleading. We really should be down around 48 for average sufficiency rating.
So you're saying take into account the importance of the structures also?
And the price, the cost. I mean, I don't know how it comes when you go to the big grants and everything, but that number of 75.1 is misleading when you look at the 4 major bridges and what it costs to repair them.
Mhm.
Throw 2 more in, and pretty soon somebody's gonna say, we got 100% great bridges.
Yeah, that has nothing, that number doesn't affect the percent or the chance that Yankton County would get a grant or anything.
Okay, that's fine, but when you tell me in an opening statement that our sufficiency rating is 75.1, which is in the high area of the good, but to get there, you average 4 culverts in at 100, each one of them being 100. It looks very misleading to me.
What would you like to see different? If we just took a general.
I'd like the public not to think that our bridges are in great shape, because they aren't.
But you are replacing them, and it is, so that average sufficiency rating, if you look back at 2020, it did go up a little bit, right? Because you got rid of some bad ones and replaced them with some good ones. I understand what you're saying, Don.
It might have gone up a micro part of 1%. I don't know, but yeah, we're working on bridges, and that's good, but don't tell the public that we're in great shape, because we aren't.
get
Well,
Stone
I think-
Church and Fleeks fixed and then.
I think
I get what
the
you're saying.
message, it needs to be that we are working on these bridges and a lot of the, call it, they're not really minor structures, but well, some of them are, but yeah, some of the county and township bridges are being replaced, but our four big ones are still probably averaging that 48% sufficiency, so.
If we replace Stone Church, that will probably be the cost of every bridge we've done in the last 3 years,
Right.
maybe even more than that. So
Right.
we're picking off the small ones, but we still have the huge main ones that we gotta worry about.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't like the message. The message is we got a lot of work to do. We're making progress on the small ones, but when you average small and big in, it's a false message, in my opinion.
thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Keep Mike working.
Thanks. Sorry I had to be harsh.
The little
But I think
Grinch-
that is a
little
good
Grinch before
point, though.
Christmas, Don.
Yeah, a little Christmas.
It's a valid point, though, that
Well,
we
one of the four
certainly-
littler ones that was the one west of Scott, Irene, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And that was,
That was a township bridge, I think.
yeah.
I don't even think that was our bridge to replace.
So anyway,
Thanks, guys. Okay, so we're gonna move on to
10.
item 10. Stone Church replacement grant application.
Alrighty, I guess it's getting to be that time of year again. Last year we applied for the replacement grant on Stone Church Bridge and didn't quite make the cut. So this year we decided as a county to pay for design engineering out of our own pocket, which would gain us 10 more points on our score.
We were 47 last year and now we're 57, is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. We were 47 then. I was thinking we were 48, but yeah. So we're at 57 and the lowest score last year to be awarded was 52. Is that correct? Low 50. Anyways, by doing this, I think we, not saying we're guaranteed no grant, but we're in the playing field now. Total cost of the grant application is $3,726,633. We're gonna do an 80-20 split there. So the county would be on the hook for $745,000. Going from a 371-foot steel girder bridge to a 496-foot. Is there any questions on the grant application?
Very nice application, Mike.
I would just note to, with that 80-20, the other way to buy up big points is to change that 80-20. So we're spending 60,000 on design out of our own pocket to get 10 points, and that's by far the most economical way to increase our points in the big system. After that, it's increasing our match, and that's well, 20% is $750,000. So we go up from there. So hopefully this is the ticket.
Proposing going up, like what would? if we
No, I'm
paid
not
more-
proposing going up. I'm
Okay.
just explaining that we did spend, we're spending money on the design to be shovel ready to increase that. And just kind of an FYI, I guess.
What was the total cost for the designing that we spent? Is that included in this?
Nope, once that is all said and done, it'll be approximately 130,000.
That we spent?
We have not received all the bills on that yet.
Okay.
So our total cost will be more like 30, 70, but it's just not counted that way.
Right.
Good application. From what you guys have seen and talking to Mike a little bit, 57, that puts us in the ballpark.
On normal years, yes, it's a slam dunk.
Okay. What about this year?
I wish.
We can't get a guarantee? Okay, all right. But it
No.
puts us in the running.
We have to think that there's some counties out there taking ARPA funds and throwing that towards bridge applications.
Better get these guys a crystal ball.
Well, is that something that we would consider? You know, the reason, and Don kind of said it as, I mean, we got 4 of these things and they're not getting any cheaper, and there's only so many big, bridge improvement grant dollars we can get. Do we want to look at doing that as an option?
I would
I mean,
say
we-
at this point, no, and I don't know all the detail, that would have to be spent by 24, the ARPA funds.
Well, that's 2026, but from what you guys work with a lot of different counties, are other counties putting some ARPA dollar funds in the bridge improvement grant?
I don't know if it's ARPA, but other counties are taking this approach.
Mhm.
High priority bridges, that
Okay,
they increase the big support to get ready.
okay. So kind of what you alluded before, this is not going to be a normal year. So I mean, we could have spent $130,000 and still be 2 years behind it. How much do we gain if we did, instead of a 20%, we did a 30% for a big grant?
Every 10%, you get 3 1/3.
3 1/3 points.
Pretty spendy points in my book.
Yeah.
I would say we shoot for this, and if it doesn't work, we
Well, our
Try
chance
again.
is a lot better at 60.3 than 57. And how many counties you guys work with then? I mean, look, roughly 15, and they're all, at least a percentage of them are putting extra money to try to raise their big score. So, I mean, we can read between the lines. I would suspect then that the average big score is going to be higher this year than it was last year.
I think, I don't know, this is sorry, Mike, this is a argument even between us and the office
Mhm.
when we're trying to consult our clients.
Sure.
We have a federal replacement grant, 2
Mhm.
that are replacing for condition bridges. So yes, people have extra money, but there's also another grant source.
Mhm.
So that's why I can't predict where this score goes. But yes, and to your point, and I think we with you guys are 6 bid ready grants that we're doing with other counties. So big grants, bid ready grants, bid ready.
we would have to spend another 300 and almost $400,000 to get our 3 more points to get to 60.
That's not worth it. I don't care if it is free money. Free money.
Well, I mean, the bridge improvement grant is, unless it's changed, which as far as I know, it hasn't, is $15 million. Just this bridge alone is 25% of that, around over 24% of the entire state's budget. I guess I wish the score was higher. It's something, I'm all for moving it forward, but if there's anything we can do to help it out, because the longer we put off delaying this first bridge, then the longer it's gonna take Fleeks and Johnson and James. So I'm all for applying for it though.
When's this application due? January 2nd, yeah. Don't have a lot of time to do much else, I guess.
Yeah. I guess I'd move approval of the application for Stone Church Bridge replacement grant.
I second the motion for approval of the application.
You didn't have anything else, did you, Micah? Sorry.
We'll wait a minute to vote anyway. Don's out. So there's motion for approval by Dan, second by Wanda. Can't really go on to any other discussion.
All the rest of them need.
They all need approvals too, don't they?
We could probably vote on it, I guess. I don't think Don's against this.
No, I don't either, but we'll.
I guess we won't know.
Yep, that's how it works. See, if we didn't have to wait. Don, there's a motion to approve the application, then a second on the floor.
We also put you on the bridge repair committee while you were out.
If you did put me on, if you did put me on that, I want you to know that my opinion is we can't afford 4 James River bridges in this county. So sometime we gotta prioritize which one is
Yeah.
last.
But isn't this just an application for big funds?
Yes.
Yep.
Second, or you got a second.
We've got a motion and a
Now we're
second,
gonna
so with
vote.
that, all those in favor, stay aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Nice application on that. Very well
We'll
done.
move on to the right-of-way application.
I guess let's do the utility certification first.
Move approval.
Second.
Did you need to say anything on it?
No, I just spoke to all the utility companies that are within the right of way there and there is a possibility that there might be a cost to moving overhead power, but we're not for sure yet if that is a necessity.
Okay. So if there is, then what?
And we gotta pay it. That's assuming we get the grant and we're moving it, so. I mean, if you have to move the power, yeah.
But there is one utility company that is right within the right of way. So.
Okay.
Gonna abdicate the throne.
Well, we've got a motion and a second for the utility certificate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And next are the easements. I don't know which order you guys have them in.
We've got,
Could we do all the easements in one motion or?
No, they each gotta have
they
their
each
own
gotta have
motion.
their own?
Let me know which one you're doing.
whichever one you want.
Savannah.
First one I have. Oh, you wanna do that one?
Well, it's the order they're in.
Yeah, that's over.
First one is Savannah DeBelts, which owns the property on the southwest corner of the bridge.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. It's probably easier, Mike, if you go whatever your order you are, we can.
All right, next one I have for William Clute.
Move approval.
Second.
No, not so fast.
Motion by Clemish, second by Loest for the easement for William Clute. All those in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next one is for Curtis and Barbara Almer on the northwest side of the bridge.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion for approval for the Curtis Ulmer on the northeast. There's two there, Patty. There's a northwest and a northeast.
Or should I be listing parcel numbers? Patty, you can add them in.
Pretty sure we're gonna.
That one
approve
is
them
prod,
all.
Well,
parcel
in the
on there.
motion, in all these motions.
that parcel's not on.
I'll just put the project number on it.
I have the parcel numbers on the application or the,
I'll I'll put the project number on both. That's easiest on all of them then.
that these will get filed with the register of deeds, so I didn't know if it was necessary for the parcel or not.
So this is for 68-030-018.
Yep, that's the bridge number.
They'll all have that.
Oh, they all have that?
Yep.
So this is, let's put note of the parcel number.
Parcel
You-
numbers on
what
the
you
right
have is
side.
Actually gets filed though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll just be the minutes that would be reflected.
Okay.
Why don't you shout that parcel number out? Or you have it?
16, yep,
Okay, you have it.
16-009-100-100.
Yep.
Okay, so motion to approve the agreement for parcel number, the Curtis Ulmer Northeast is,
16-009-100-100.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So now we'll go to Ulmer's Northwest.
Parcel number 16-010-400-300.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Clemish, second by Kettering. For parcel 16
010 400 300.
010-400-300. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Do you have the parcel numbers on the other ones, Patty?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll just take them out of here.
Okay. And then last is the right-of-way certificate, and just stating that all the easements and utilities will be taken care of by the county.
Move approval.
Can that just have one motion or for each one? Is there two?
One was for the utilities and this one's for actual right-of-way.
So there's just one item though.
Is just this
One motion is fine.
Yep. We have a motion by Clemish,
I'll second.
second by Loest to approve the right-of-way application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, Bill.
What's it going on?
Okay, moving on, item 11. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plats. Got Darlene Jensen on first.
Yep. Plat of tracks 1A, 2A, 3A, 6A, and 8A of DJ's addition being a Christian property lying south of lots A and B, and tracks 7 and 8 of DJ's addition in lot B, in section 16, T93N, R55W of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Move approval of the plat.
Second.
Motion by Don, second by Dan.
I should point you got me ahead of me. I wanted to point out something on this one so everybody knew. 6A, 8A, and 3A are smaller than minimum required lots. The reason he did it, that's all accretion, it's all in the floodway, or excuse me, the floodplain. And if they attach them to any of the lots above, it makes them in the floodplain, so they wouldn't be able to do anything. Nobody can build on them because of the floodplain and because they're too small anyway. So Tom was at the planning commission meeting and explained that, and Gary was fine with that because nothing will be developed, but at least this way will be on the, have a name attached to and be on the tax roll.
Doesn't it have to be a variance though, if it's anything smaller? than minimum
What did you
lot
say?
size?
Dan?
I mean, even though,
Well-
I know you can't build on it, but I thought the way the ordinance read, that anything that's smaller than a minimum lot size regardless is still through the variance process.
How did Brad King handle that? Wasn't it just
He did
a,
a variance
was it a variance or
on
was
RT,
it?
yeah.
I don't think he did a variance for the plat. He did a variance for something else, didn't he? But he attached his to his property.
Yeah, I mean, if you,
I think
if
his
you
were two
attached it
separate-
to if you
Yeah, two
attached it-
separate things going.
Two separate plats, but there was a deed restriction, I think, placed on it.
Gary
section-
thought if you chose to approve it, the plat as is, knowing nobody can do anything with it.
Section 207, the creation of any new yard, lot, or parcel with the dimensions or area below the minimum requirement set forth herein must follow the variance procedures, section 1807 and 1809, amended May 19, 2020. It doesn't say anything about buildable or not buildable. So in my opinion, per our ordinance, it has to go through a variance if it's under the minimum size. It's under the minimum size by any amount. So I get what you're saying.
And that's why I
it
mentioned
makes-
it.
And it makes sense. But that's not what our ordinance says. Now, if he'd combine, a bunch of them and add, and replat it to the lot he has, and it's bigger than the minimum lot requirement, he's fine. But I don't think we can do that otherwise, and that's just my opinion, so. And is that R2 or what is that zone?
This was rezoned to R2, moderate density
So
residential.
1 acre lots.
Yeah.
So if it's 0.9 acre by our ordinance, I think it has to be a variance.
I'd move we table the approval of this plat until that can be settled.
Retract your first motion.
Right, well, if,
Because you moved to approve it, so
Okay.
just
just,
I'll retract. my
retract the first
motion.
motion and then we can further look at this before this gets approved.
Right.
I do agree with Dan. I don't think we should approve it tonight until we know the answer to that
Yeah.
and the
Well-
reasoning. What's the specific reason they're putting these off as separate lots? So the mother lot, I'll call it, is not in the flood zone?
Yep.
That's why
If
they're
they,
doing
yeah,
that?
if it attaches to any of them, then they're all, whatever they're attached to is going to be included in that floodplain. If they want to build a house, then they're going to have to deal with the floodplain. It's some of the lots that are vacant, like 8 is currently vacant, but I think they're going to build a house there.
So do they own all of these lots?
Um,
The same person?
Currently, yes, but I believe the intent was some of the family members were going to either be gifted or buy tract B and tract 7, then the unplatted one.
so
Excuse
the
me.
adjacent, do you have access to the river from the adjacent property? So they couldn't take tract 6A and 8A and 1A and combine them, because then 6 wouldn't have ownership down to
To the river or to the,
Yeah.
if there's water there.
the, right. That would be
Yeah.
my guess why they don't want to do that.
Yes.
And this is probably an instance where a variance is extremely appropriate because of what you just said, and I,
Or they put a deed restriction on it that you can never build on it.
well, it's in a flood plain, so it's not gonna get built
Yeah.
on anyway,
Well,
but.
you can build in a floodplain,
Is it
but you don't
floodplain
need
or-
insurance.
Right, well, I think,
Mhm.
first of all, Gary, Gary's in our attitude was it's gonna be smaller, so they wouldn't be able to build on it, because you're not gonna give a variance to build on a smaller lot. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, the deed restriction, the elevation there is so low, I think I mean, in theory, they could, but it would cost them a fortune to bring enough fill in to elevate it to where they're above base flood elevation by a foot. It's just not feasible.
I think even with the deed restriction, that
But you could camp
Probably
there and
does need-
recreate there,
Yeah, well,
but you couldn't build there.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to build anything there, really. It's
But
just
you
not-
could go camp there if you wanted.
Yep.
There's no access other than by the river. is there?
Well, each lot would have their own.
A lot of these are pre-zoning lots too, are they not? They're
Yes.
older ones, so, they were probably platted before there was any minimum requirement, and then they should be developed as our ordinance says they can be, but.
I think for the discussion tonight, I think retracting the motion is the proper thing to do, and then I do think that we probably aren't gonna come to a consensus tonight. It likely does need to go through variance, but I think we can probably table this till the next meeting. And move on to the other plats, I think.
Yeah, we shouldn't take any action to approve at all. Or deny. We shouldn't deny.
No, we should not deny either. Because I think it's a valid plat. I think Dan's right. It probably needs to go through the variance process just to be clear and concise that we're following the ordinance. So with that, we'll take no action for this evening and we'll move on to the next plat.
Plat of Tract 1, Gabe Linneman edition in government lots 7 and 8 of section 18 and in the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of section 18, all in T96N R56W of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. This is pretty straightforward.
Move approval.
Second,
Motion by Clemish, second by Fox for approval. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Irishman, next one for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Plat of Tract B in the south half of the southwest quarter of section 33, T94N, R56W of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
How big is this plat?
The new parcel will be 11.129 acres. So Hirschman Engineering owned Tract B, the lower half, zone commercial. That's where they have their business. They also owned the property that was north and to the east, and they were keeping some of their equipment and things up there. So to clean it up, they just redrew the line and added that portion directly to the north, to the south. And we also informed that at some point they're gonna have to rezone that to commercial to conform. It's zoned ag now, but they'll have to come back and rezone that to commercial with the lower half.
I guess so we're approved, it's a plot of less than 20 acres in ag. With a-
No. It'll be
Okay.
commercial and
Okay.
ag, but they're gonna have to come back and rezone into commercial.
Should we do the rezone to commercial? And then once that's approved, if it's approved, then the zoning requirement for commercial is 2 acres, ag is 20. I'm just wondering how, this is under the minimum lot size, is it not? Of 20 acres. I know it's being used as commercial and they want to move it to commercial, but it's not at that point.
Yeah. I think
Because I could just say, well, I want to rezone this piece of property and rezone it to the smaller lot size, and then that falls through, and then you didn't. So,
Is
this
it
is
dual
by
zone?
us having the,
it'd be dual zone like
It's dual.
lakeside commercial.
but what it says right here on the application, district type ag.
Ag and commercial.
Okay.
So that lot will be dual zone, just like we have along
The
52.
one there, so that's commercial, and what they're adding to it
Yeah,
is.
so this is all one lot.
Okay.
ag. This is commercial. They've cut this part off and they're adding it to this. So it'll be dual zone, commercial and ag, knowing that they're going to have to come back and rezone this at some point to commercial. But we thought since we've got other dual zoned that, and they're using it as commercial, and they have to use it as commercial, that it would be okay. You could, if you wanted to, I suppose you could put a condition that they come back within some certain amount of time and rezone it to commercial.
Well, I guess, with the way we've been denying variances, you can see how everybody's trying to work their way around
Yeah.
and doing it, because a lot of variances have been.
Well,
you
then
know,
we need to
turned-
fix the
turned-
ordinance.
Turned down. And so, this is another one, if we're being honest. It should either be rezoned or it should have a variance. And I'm fine with it, but this is what people are doing because of how we're not approving variances. They're finding workaround after workaround.
I don't think that's Hirschman's intention.
No, I don't think it is, but if he came in and asked for variance, there's a good chance. Almost 100% chance of it to be denied. And so.
Where does the original parcel come over to how far to the west?
Oh.
Is it that whole piece there? So they
Yes.
just want to split off that north corner,
Yes, and they
okay?
cut off around this.
So they don't want the rest of that zone the whole
No,
thing
this is gonna
commercial.
remain ag. He just wanted this added to this to clean it up because he stores equipment and things here.
Right.
And so, this will be all one part of the business.
It really should come through with a rezone. Kind of chicken or the egg. Should all be done together, right? There should also be a rezone hearing with
the replat.
But you can't do one without the other type of deal. I don't know the correct way to do it, or the cleanest way, but
And we've done that before together.
sure. So this might be one we don't take any action and we schedule a rezone and just do it all together.
Okay.
People comfortable with that? Okay.
Yeah, they're not looking to sell this tomorrow, so there's no delaying any business.
Shoot on 1 for 3.
All right, these next ones gotta be pretty
cut and dry.
Pretty cut and dried, I think.
Plat of lot 35 in Bay Cliff Estates, located in the west half of the south 12.91 acres of the south half of the southwest quarter of section 7, and in the west half of section 18, lying north of Highway 52, except platted areas known as Tramp 7th Edition, and except lots 1 and 2 of parcel A, and further accepting parcels B and C McVeigh Edition, all being in T93N R56W of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Yeah, can I hear a motion?
Yep, I'll move approval of lot 35.
Second.
Motion by Lowe's, second by Fox for approval of lot 35. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Plat of, excuse me, plat of lot 24 in Bay Cliff Estates, located in the west half of the south 12.91 acres of the south half of the southwest quarter of section 7, and in the west half of section 18, lying north of Highway 52, except platted areas known as Tramp 7th Edition, and except lots 1 and 2 of parcel A, and further accepting parcels B and C McVeigh Edition, all being in T93N R56W of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Kettering, second by Clemish to approve lot 24 Bay Cliff Estates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then on to
Last one.
last one.
Plat of lot 38, block 4, Sunrise Edition in the southwest quarter of section 10, T93N R55W of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Clemish, second by Los, for approval of lot 38 and Sunrise Edition. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So we did item 12 earlier. 13 is canceled, so we are moving on to item 14. Property and liability with Mr. Smith.
Soon you'll vote on whether to continue insurance with EMC Insurance Company or change to the South Dakota Municipal Pool. Couple of things I thought I should mention. I know that Lynn is here and if she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but she has come back with new numbers, taking off the ambulance department and the emergency management department. You've got the law enforcement in there.
Yes, law enforcement is included in what I sent you guys on Friday, I think it was, so we took out ambulance.
Okay, then to her number, you still have to add the ambulance and the emergency management. So if your decision is made simply on dollars, and it may be, and that's your decision, there's other things to consider, but their price will be higher than the EMC price. To my sheet that I gave you last week, 2 weeks ago, it was 205,000, did not include the ambulance or their emergency management, but so the 205,000, you need to add, I'm gonna give you a round number, 25,000. So our price with EMC and the fire pack with emergency management ambulance is 230,000. So price wise, that package is somewhat less than, not a little, but somewhat less than as a municipal pool. Other things I think to consider, Lynn has talked about bringing forward expertise in putting together numbers for the properties, doing some engineering and recommendation on various pieces of operations the county has. No, your problem is not your problem. They're not a problem. Your situation is you don't have car accidents. You don't have wind and hail claims. You don't have equipment problems. You know, the problems are in the zoning. That's where the problems are. And that's where we're at this spot. There's nothing you're going to do about that. If you can engineer it, recommend it, change it, do whatever you want to do. But I think whether this is just an aberration the last few years or whether it's going to continue or not, nobody knows. But that's a situation that is here and being dealt with over the years, and I think hopefully been dealt with properly and fairly and so forth. So if you make your decision on pricing, the numbers are there. The coverages are, you know, as close as you get, as close as you can get like kind. There's no specifications put out.
by me or the municipal pool or you or anybody. So we're trying to get as close as we can to each other so you're comparing apples for apples. They've got a $6 million quote. That's our quote. Their deductibles are a little bit different than ours, some better, some worse, I think. But they're as close as we can get without specific directions from the commission. So having said that, if you have any questions, I'd answer them. Can't think of anything else. If you've studied all that stuff and you have, God bless you, because it's not easy to work your way through it all. So Lynn, do you have some comments? I guess you've got up here, make them, and if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I didn't look at the ambulance. I don't know what ENC's ambulance numbers are, so I can't speak to that. And I took 30+ minutes when I was here a couple weeks ago. So the only information of ours I changed was the updated numbers that you asked for, and I gave that. So I don't really have anything else.
Well, that, we've always had when I came to these meetings, we talked about the numbers on that sheet I gave you, and the ambulance and the emergency management were, I guess, kind of a side issue. Paul Scherschlik loves that product. Steve Hawkins loves that product, and I think that's where most of the operations in South Dakota are in that program. So I guess we just left that alone for all these years and renewed the policy of those two departments and sent the billing. And this year it's a kind of an issue because her first numbers were including that, and she excluded them from her new numbers. And I did not give you a number because we never had discussed that before, never had come up before. So.
And I think you're right. I don't think there's any appetite for those two departments to go away from.
They don't want you to
their
change
current-
very bad. I know that. I said it's your decision, not the commission's decision, but I don't think they want, I think they want to stay where they're at. And that program should handle their stuff. That's tailored to them. So any other questions I'll answer? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything, Lynn? We're good.
Unless you have specific questions for me, I'm simply here to answer any questions you have. I have nothing new to say.
Okay, with that, just for clarity, will be in item 15, but
So in the packet, there was something from Lynn, and there's 4 sheets in there. It came from a spreadsheet that she had provided. I emailed it to all the commissioners. And the last week, I think you sent it out, and I think I emailed it then. So the first page in there says with agent, and the second page says without agent. That was her original quote that included the ambulance and emergency management coverage. So if you look at page 3 and you look at page 4, those are the 2 sheets that reflect taking that out, as if we would stay with the specialty insurance that Paul and Steve are very supportive of. So the third page shows an agent fee, and then the last page shows there is no agent fee. And from your note, Lynn, you said that there was no interest in Roger providing that service. So really what it would come down to is probably page 4.
right.
I'm in support of keeping Paul and Steve separate on their insurance. They certainly use that insurance. I know that because we often get supplemental income from something that has been claimed. So I think that 25,000, and that's, I looked up our January discussion, and that's about what it was last year, was $25,000 for that specialty coverage.
That for both departments.
That covers both of those departments together. So that when you look at Lynn's page 4, toward the bottom, there's those retro years, 1, 2, 3, and 5 years. If we do choose to go to the new insurance, one of those needs to be part of the plan, because we have to have some look back, depending on what risk we think we carry. And that is included, she included at the bottom, year 3 and year 5. I think your original quote didn't have the 5-year on it, if I remember right, so you added that, so thanks for that. And there's really only $2,500 difference in 3 and 5-year look back on that.
And I forget, was that a 1 year, or is that paid until that 5-year look back is up, or is it
So
one time?
Yep, so it's a one-time fee, so really, if we didn't have to do that, the insurance quote on that last page would be $173,000 for a 6 million umbrella, I'll call it, $6 million limit.
PMC look back is 13 years on one coverage.
Yep, and to Roger's point, and last year, that was a big part of our decision to stay with Roger, was because we had that long history, and there's no question who's responsible for the claim. So that's the balancing act, is there's a cheaper option being offered to us, and do we want to this year make the switch?
I guess I want to add, does anybody, to make sure we're all apples to apples type of deal, Sherry alluded, we're looking at the $6 million coverage column. With RC Smith, it's what is it, $1 million with a $5 million umbrella, if I remember right. So the 6 million coverage, just an FYI, if anyone's looking at the $1 million or 3 million and the rates there, it wouldn't be comparable, I guess, put it that way.
Yep, good point. And I think our county carries probably to the top for insurance. I think you said the rest of your pool is usually $1 million.
Right, yep, we talked about that in January. It
Yep.
doesn't seem like it was that, yes,
Doesn't.
in January. You guys are in the top end of the top 10 counties in the state.
Of course we are.
Of the top 12, we have 10 of the top 12. And you guys are in the top end of those top 10.
Any other thoughts? I guess when I put pencils to it, if you compare the 173 to the 205, that's a $22,000 difference. And if we are looking at a 5-year look back, it costs about $48,000. So you're looking at a little over a 2-year recovering of that 5-year look back. So you'd have to stay with him for 2 years to essentially be even with if we stayed with Roger. Any other thoughts on?
Well, we've talked a lot about price. And that's one part of the formula. But we also need to think about service. And I think we've had pretty great service with Smith Insurance. And I think that's worth some bucks. They're local, they respond quickly. I've had support from different department heads, and they're pleased with the service.
Dan or Wanda?
I want to know why they call it a contribution and not a cost.
That's what they decided to name it 30 years ago when the pool started.
Contribution sounds like it's elective.
So a
Well, it's to a pool.
You are, yeah.
It's a risk-sharing pool. It's not insurance. So it's a contribution to the pool that's invested and used to sustain it as your claim. So it's, that's.
There is something to be said about having somebody here that you can talk to.
Dan?
I think all in all, we're probably gonna have be satisfied probably with either way we go. There's probably pluses and minuses that we'd come across on both of them. I'm kind of in the little hesitant still with just look back and lawsuits a little bit. But I don't know, part of me leans to the devil, you know, type of deal.
That still comes out with money though.
Pardon?
Any other questions before we move on to motions?
I mean, I guess I would reiterate what we said last year.
Which was?
The look back is a concern for our office. We know what we're dealing with right now. We know that they're still out there. Some are in the middle of litigation, some may not have even been filed yet.
I think a lot, and from my stance, a lot of what we were hoping would be wrapped up hasn't been, and it's not on your department. There's a lot of things coming out of the woodwork, it seems, and that's my concern.
So at this time, I'll go ahead and make a motion. I don't think we've got anything else to discuss, do we? To approve the MT and RC Smith insurance quote and to continue with the separate ambulance and OEM insurance as well, which is a separate number from this. So let me clean that up a little bit for Patty. I approve to, I make a motion. You can tell I'm not used to sitting here in this chair making motions.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
It is easy, man.
That's why I always tell you, make it simple.
And make it simple. So I move to stay with our current insurance provider with the quote presented.
Second. We have a motion by Sherry, second by Dawn to approve the MT and RC Smith quote as presented. Yeah. let's leave it simple. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Dan.
Yeah. Thank you, though, Lynn. We really do appreciate you coming here.
Thank you for the opportunity and.
Roger's such, Roger is, he's just so great. So.
I wouldn't count on it.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, we'll move on to item 16, IT. Now, I contacted John Anderson with Anderson Telecom just to kind of feel them out about if they would be interested at all. I know early on I had talked to them and they showed interest, but weren't sure of the workload. So I just kind of called them to feel them out after they had not placed a bid. Valley, I think everybody has a copy of this at their desk. It's kind of a very generic outline of what they would be open to or propose outside of our other two offers that we had at a department head meeting. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Sherry, the message very much was for sure, one of those that was presented, people were comfortable with the expertise or knowledge of the company. And that was the one out of Madison. The cost was
Very aggressive.
very aggressive, I'll put it that way. And I don't think anybody had any real concerns with the other company. Just kind of, I think everybody would like to, wanted to kind of see some more bids or some more options potentially. And that's, so I had contacted John Anderson. This is what he had. Our conversation kind of consisted of, they originally did not put a bid. They felt it maybe been too overwhelming for what they do. After I kind of talked to them what services were and discussed what Craig had done, and he provided them a list of kind of some of the duties. They did feel that they could handle it and would be willing to. In fact, Dylan Tramp does not currently work with them, and he would be brought on if we went forward with this. And so their proposal was kind of 6 months, no real hard contract. Let's just test the waters. They would bill out at $100 an hour, minimum of 10 hours a week.
A month.
Or 10 hours a month, sorry. Either party could back out, but he did assure us that if that was the route they would go, that they wouldn't just drop us. They would only back out if they felt that they couldn't provide the service that we required, and they would kind of help us transition to somebody. Detailed invoices and then regroup after 6 months. I will note, I don't know if it's in here. The one thing I think, just to make sure everybody's aware, is that they are fully employed by the school district. And Dylan also is employed by another company in town. And so a lot of their work is going to be remote tie-ins, either phone or just web-based remote support if they're needed on site. I think if it was an absolute emergency, something could be done. Otherwise, it would be, after 4 o'clock on weekdays, or else Fridays. That sounded fairly open.
Well, wouldn't that be true of Infotech Solutions? They're in Madison, so they're going to be doing most of their stuff remotely.
That's just it. Both of the companies would be doing that, provided quotes would be doing, most of it would be remote. So
will they be able to, the question is if we have a major event, are they gonna be able to get away from their job at the school district and help us through it? We don't know that. When we had them install this, they're good guys, but it's kind of their side gig. Really,
It's what?
It's their side job when they're not
right
employed. It's the weekend, it's the night.
Right.
Well,
If we need support during the day.
If it's truly a major event, don't you think they could take personal time?
What the school board's already got hit by some ransomware. What if it's both of us at the same time, or who knows the situation? Their first duty should be to the school, because that's where they get their full employment.
And we discussed that. We also talked about that at the department head meeting. Right now with Craig as a solo operation based out of Freeman. And so there's times where he can't make it. And I kind of asked the question, well, when you absolutely need somebody here and he's not available, what do you do? Well, we call somebody else in town, and it's always been serviced. So I don't think we're ever going to be high and dry if this is the route we would go.
So when we were in the department head meeting, we had a good discussion over it, and we looked through there's a big difference in these two quotes. The one is 10,000 a month, and that's just for ongoing service. And then they had identified some hardware, some setup fees that they had, and the other company was about 2,000 a month. So we looked over the last 2 years for Craig's billing, and for 2020, he averaged 13 hours a month. And in 2021, he's averaging 7 hours a month. The other thing that was kind of discussed is where do many of our issues come from? And many of them are server driven. And there were a couple department leaders who want to migrate to the cloud to get rid of servers. Because they are intensive for repair issues. We do have some areas that probably need to be cleaned up. And servers you have to upgrade, which is equipment cost as well. And I don't think it would apply to the whole county. But there are certain areas where Paul, for example, I'm going to pick on him because he's Mr. Remote Guy. He works from all over the county. I think his department would probably benefit from moving to some cloud-based system because he's always unplugging and plugging in somewhere else. So, and we did talk about talking to Chris and John about providing and I thought the department heads were very open to doing that. They liked working with these gentlemen, and they felt it would be really similar to working with Craig. And again, I think if we're willing to do a 6-month test the waters, I think it's probably a good option right now as we stand here today. The infotech is Cadillac. I mean that, and then you start saying, well, at 120,000 a year, could you hire somebody? And I think the only way we're going to be able to hire somebody is if we have another 1 county or 2 counties go in it with us. And we have not had those discussions well enough to commit to that yet. So this setup might get us down that path to get a couple other counties maybe interested in talking about things like that. So that's really, and Deb and Patty, you're willing to jump in here. You guys were both at the meeting. If there's anything else you want to share there as well. So.
Yeah, those gentlemen, they were very nice to work with, you know, and I think nice to all the department heads and I mean, Invotech is I mean, they do work with Encode, but generally from my office, I don't need a lot of, you know, if a computer's not working or something like that, but you know, there's other departments that use it for different, like state's attorney use it for hardware mostly, don't you? Yeah.
And I think, I mean, obviously I was familiar with them. For our department, it is typically hardware. And obviously, you know, we would have to wait till Craig called or could get there. And so, you know, for us, it wasn't
Ideal.
you know, right away. And so obviously, because the way our office works, we have to be there when anyone is in our office. But to have someone in Yankton, you know, if we had to go over on a Saturday or whenever in the evening so that they could work on stuff, you know, I would be the first to say, just let me know.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be a problem with if they had to come on a Saturday. I hope no other department is mad at me, but
I gathered that there probably wouldn't be too many issues. I guess my thought is, yeah, you know, if we're 4 months into this and that people aren't happy or it's causing issues that it's somewhat after hours and whatnot, we're not really out. You know,
Much.
we're still out less than the other 2 quotes. And, you know, we take another look at it. But in my conversations with John too, I suggested, and Paul, I know it's the reason I suggested Paul would like kind of an audit of hardware in our overall system. And I think we're going to need that no matter what we do, who we go with, because they're going to kind of want to, there's different ways to skin a cat, I guess. And so you're going to want to do it how you're familiar with. They did mention they would like to move towards more web-based platforms and get rid of servers. Most problems they have with servers, you know, the school hack that was a couple years ago, everything they ran through a web-based server, was secure. Everything that was on their own servers is what they had issues with.
What kind of turnaround did they say if we report a problem? Is it they're go to it within the day, within 24 hours?
Well, I think within the hour, I mean, the intent was that there's 3 of them. And with their operation too, and I'm not super familiar, but just enough with talking with other people and with them, I think they each kind of have their own niche. You know, I think they've kind of got a hardware guy, a software guy, you know, the network understanding, but I don't believe there's any 24 hours. I think it's within the hour, they're going to be patched in remotely and working on something, as long as they don't have all 3 of them at the same time in the middle of something else, but that can happen no matter who we go with. So.
And I think Craig is gonna stick around to help, you know, if they have any questions.
Right, help with the transition, so.
Do you need a formal motion?
I think we better.
Go ahead.
Come on up.
Scott Borman, and this is not to help you guys with your decision. Me and a buddy of mine, March of 2020, we started a business called Recycle IT, or as a lot of people say, Recycle It. We recycle electronics. It's mainly focused on computers, but it's done a lot of stuff. But all those pieces of equipment, printers, monitors, all types of stuff. We've even gotten sewing machines and vacuum cleaners. So, but in that time, we've kept 30 tons of stuff out of the landfill. Okay, that's plastics, that's heavy metals, precious metals. A lot of it's gone to Yankton Metals for their so they can continue it. We've dealt with Matt Frederickson, the IT boss over at the school district. So just something to keep in mind. All that stuff that's sitting in a closet needing to get rid of, we're located right next to Heartland Humane Society. So when you need to get rid of the old stuff, we've even taken TVs that went through the car wash in the truck, in the bed of a truck before. So it's okay. And we also got a mobility scooter in one time, and we helped through Dan got that into it was still working. So we got into the hands of a veteran. So, and we're both me and my buddy Jim are veterans. So just thought I'd throw that out at you. And about the web bikes, got to remember cloud, everything saved on somebody else's computer. Security might be an issue, but their problem, the problem on the hardware, it's their problem. So there's pluses and minuses both ways. So thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's a good point, actually. With some of the web-based services, I'd have to look closer at, you know, any contract or service agreements, but I think they would be at more liability than if it's our fault or problem if there is an issue. So
when I talked to Dustin, you know, for this, it might be fine, but I would ensure if we do go cloud-based, security has to be, you know, right at the top. I mean, if we have all our zoning records and there's access to our voting records and voter rolls and the, you know, social security numbers, it has to be where we can't get locked out. I mean, so.
Right. No, I agree. That was the first.
As long as they realize it, because it happened to the school district, it has happened to Hutchinson County, it happens.
But again, that when it happened to the school district, that was only, some of their stuff was cloud-based and some was housed in their own servers, and the security on the cloud-based was much better than what the servers were. So I guess I think it's clear which way I would prefer to go. I don't know if anybody else has where we're at. I wasn't sure either, Patty, with it not coming in with that original bid packet, and if it's under so much and it's a service, do we even need to bid it out, or do we need to, how do we
Probably
move
one
forward?
thing to consider, anything cloud-based, there's one thing you're gonna absolutely need no matter what, internet connection. If that goes down, you've got no access.
Didn't we do a request for bids?
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the requirement, what, did these guys get it in on time, and what I'm saying is. Should
It
we
was
open
a,
back
it was a
up, or-
request for proposal.
Mhm.
So it's because it's not really a bid. Are there separate laws around proposals and bids that you know of?
I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know what it said, if it had to be in by a certain time or what it said, so.
You know, feedback from the department head was essentially, let's put another request out for bids, and people did not feel comfortable with the two that we have.
So we can certainly put out another request. But if it is it 25,000?
Yes.
Then so we could vote to reject the two here. And then next Tuesday, we can put on that we're gonna approve to go with Anderson Telecom for a 6-month trial. Does that seem reasonable? Am I stepping out of my bounds here?
But then why do you have to wait till next meeting?
Well, that's the
shouldn't have
question,
to.
is if we even have to, or
Okay, I didn't know if there needed to be a timeline.
Because it's still IT discussion.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I don't think. you
Well,
don't
then
have
I
to-
would make a motion to approve Anderson IT.
Hang on, we should probably decline the other two first.
I don't
No,
know that you have
I
to
don't-
decline the other two.
Since it was a.
It's listed as IT discussion, so the question is it on the agenda?
to
make a
approve
decision
anything.
To approve anything.
Okay.
And what you could do is you had your discussion tonight, put it on the agenda for Tuesday.
Done.
Okay. We'll do that
So it would be IT approval.
for Tuesday. Sounds good.
Okay, let's see. Item 17, health insurance plan.
So tonight, we need to approve the addition of that third plan, which is essentially a no-cost plan for the employee. And that. Was it 17? So we just need to add the HSA $6,500 plan. The monthly fee is $721.14.
Does that motion have to be like, just a motion to that we're offering
At no cost.
another, yeah,
Okay.
another plan?
So I'll go ahead and make the motion. I move to add a third plan to our health insurance. HSA $6,500 at no cost to the employee.
Second,
Got a motion by Lowe, second by Fox, to add a third option at no cost to our employees, HSA 6,500 with Blue Cross Blue Shield. All those in favor say it.
Do we get further
So,
discussion?
yep, further
Is
discussion.
there any additional cost to the county by adding this third plan?
It's of similar cost as the
What's-
other two plans.
So what's the end cost for the county? Because, we already approved it. I knew what that number is. So what's the end cost that, Wellmark with these three plans is gonna cost the county? for
Well, the
year?
most it would be the $764.09 minus $45 is what,
No, the total cost for the county is what I'm asking. Because I know
Well,
we're
it
gonna
depends on
offer another
who's-
plan. Does that change? That's what I'm asking.
It depends on who signs up for what. Right? Because right now, if somebody signs up for the 5,500 PPO, it's $774 and they're gonna chip in $45.
So I just did the math here. The copay plan costs the county $729. The HSA 5,500 is $718. The HSA 6,500 is $721. So depending on how many employees pick each of those plans, that will be the total to the county. The numbers Julie provided us at the last meeting when we approved the first two plans, the numbers at the bottom assume they all went with those plans, and that's to give you a ballpark number at the end. So if 50, you could go 30, 30, 30 on each of those plans. But they're all within $11 of each other a month. So I can't give you an exact to the penny amount it's going to cost the county. There's already been a few employees who've decided not to enroll.
There's 10 total.
10 so far have chosen not to
They're
enroll
not
in the
gonna
insurance.
enroll. Was that because there was no, because of the cost? It would, the additional cost?
I'm not sure. I know they probably have on their husband or wife's plan. I'm thinking,
Okay.
because
But-
we had I think we had 4 before
Mhm.
and we got 5 new ones, I think.
Okay, so we have motion to approve a third option at no cost to employees, HSA 6,500. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we did the meeting minutes earlier. We got the claims done. Let's move on to auditor treasurer report. Any questions on that?
I'll move approval of the auditor, treasurer and pool cash reports.
Second.
Motion by Lowe, second by Fox, to approve auditor, treasurer, and pooled cash reports. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Unanticipated revenue. Speaking of insurance and Mr.
This one won't do
Sherschel.
much for us, so.
No, this one isn't not gonna buy us any bridges.
I'll move to accept the unanticipated revenue in the amount of $3,573.
Second.
Motion by Lowe, second by Kettering to approve unanticipated revenue amount of $3,573. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion,
I'm sorry.
motion passes.
And then there's another one too. For 470, 452, 58. It's for the same thing, the other, these are just parts for
Oh,
that,
that was part of
yeah.
that same claim.
So the 452.
452.58.
So move to approve the unanticipated revenue for 452.58.
Second.
Motion by Lowe, second by Fox, to approve the second claim for 452.58. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And this is just the yearly. We had approved the one earlier in the year. That was for the nurses. This is, I believe, is for the WIC.
The one that we did approve was for WIC.
Earlier,
Yeah.
it was for the nurse.
Yeah, this
This
one's
was
for
for the
WIC.
WIC.
Oh,
So
I got you. Yeah.
clerical support for WIC related services. I move to approve the consultant contract with the state of South Dakota for provision of community health services.
Second.
Do we? A motion by Lowe, second by Fox to approve the health contract
22 SC09.
22 SC09. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, December 23rd.
I sent email out to you that, I know they're still having court in the afternoon. But Governor Nome did give, state employees off at noon.
But that didn't cover the court?
Nope. Judge,
Yes and no. If court was already scheduled, it did not. We understand that. We're not opposed to everyone else. Court also is off for us the following week, just because that was the judge's schedule. And so,
well, when the judge says you show up, you show up.
Probably wise.
and clerk of courts, they'll do a skeleton through basically whoever.
Holly.
So Patty,
So the
12 o'clock noon on the 23rd, is that kind of what you're asking? That's the least we can do to show our employees their appreciation during Christmas if the governor is giving it to the rest of the state. So I guess I'd make a motion to follow the state and give the employees half a day off on December 23rd, starting at 12 o'clock.
Motion on the table to be to close government center at noon on Thursday, the 23rd. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of second.
Grinches here.
Okay,
Is there discussion on that?
That's
Yeah.
good.
sure.
Since I've been a Grinch most of the time. The softness in my heart says that I think it'd be all right with all the things that have gone on in the county in the past year to reward half a day.
Why
So
didn't you
a-
second it?
Question with that is, because there are people who don't get that off. I mean, the sheriffs, we're not going to send all the jailers home. Can they, do they get paid a holiday
Holiday
pay?
premium.
From what I had understood talking with them is that they won't take that holiday, but they'll get it. comped. At least
Because
that's what I
why?
had-
They'll take it later.
Because they'll take it later. So if we can't shut down the jail, there'll be somebody there working Christmas and the day after Christmas. So they'll get comped that holiday at a different time. That's from how I understand it.
Department heads will take care of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have leaders.
Well, and if it blizzarded, the
Exactly.
snowplow drivers would be out.
I mean.
We
it's-
don't just all close
Yeah.
down and go, sorry, we're not gonna
Exactly.
plow the
Exactly.
snow because it's the 23rd of December at 1 o'clock.
There'll still be a sheriff deputy on duty Christmas and they have it all worked out. There'll be ambulance crews on duty. The county never totally stops, so.
Don, would you like to make another motion?
Dan made the original one.
Well, I'll restate my motion, I guess. I guess I'll make a motion again. Let's try number 2. See if you guys have this Christmas spirit in your heart this time. Since Governor Nome has given our state employees December 23rd off at 12 o'clock, I make a motion to do the same with our employees on December 23rd.
I'll second
12.
that motion.
At 12.
At 12.
Noon.
Motion by Clemish, second by Kettering, to close government center and I don't know how to state that.
For the holiday.
Non-emergency employees for at noon on Thursday for a half a holiday. All those in favor say aye.
With further discussion, again, Don alluded to it now, say it again. I mean, as a thank you to our employees for the great job that they've done and, you know, the hard work they've done over the past couple of years with the flooding and COVID and everything. And this is one of the small ways that we can show appreciation to those people who come in every day and they do a great job, and what they do helps the citizens of Yankton County. So
I don't disagree. I think our employees do great. I just wanted to note there's people that do have those days off, and I don't know if that
the
affects
state
business
employees,
or not.
like state employees.
But, okay, with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Aye,
voted for it.
okay.
Sorry,
You voted for?
I did.
I was saying aye for nay, but, so, okay, so
So
Reese,
I versus nay. You should say
Should-
nay.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Then Patty's clear on it too.
okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. I'll be the Grinch, Don.
Yep, put that in the paper.
Right, with that, anybody care to make a public comment? Hearing and seeing none, public comment is closed. Commissioner updates. Anybody have any?
I was in Pier for the county association meeting, just there's tons of bills going through, like I said earlier, around 50 bills with dealing with medical marijuana alone, so it'll be Wild West, it sounds like.
There was a 8-county meeting in Tyndall last week. We went to, it was a good meeting, actually. We talked with legislator Fink. I can't remember if he's Senate or rep, but from that area, he's a good guy to work with. He did give us an update a little bit on the cannabis, which he believes there will be probably 50 bills associated with cannabis coming through. He was on the summer study there, so he was pretty knowledgeable of it. Had a lot of caution associated with the discussion, et cetera. So we'll see what falls out of that come March, the end of March. There was a presenter there from the state of South Dakota's Health Association, or their health plan. And I guess he had met with the county commissioner, the state association board a few weeks ago, and he presented there. The governor, when she took office, tasked him with evaluating if adding counties and cities to the state health plan would be a good thing long-term for the state. And it was an interesting discussion, and was when I took office, this is something that the first question I asked is, can we join? And the answer was always no, no, no. Well, our governor has said we need to really look at it. So I did go out and I've been pulling some numbers together as to what their plan currently costs and what our plan currently costs. And man, if they said you can come today, I'd say we should go run. Because right now their costs are cheaper than ours. But would those be the same costs they give to us? I don't know. And a lot of that has to be vetted out. State law has to be changed. So the soonest they could get that before the legislature would be the 2023 session, which would be a little over a year from now. So I think it is wise that Yankton County keeps on top of that. And I'll probably be emailing the gentleman directly here and offering to join and help and answer questions if we can get this moving down the path. So they seem pretty excited about it. it sounded like half the counties were excited about it, or at least interested in hearing more. So that was probably the big thing out of that. And the reason I didn't send out any notes is I left my notebook here at our meeting. So see if I have anything else written down here from that. I think it was pretty much just that. So I'll give you the information I have gathered here this week now that I have my notebook. So otherwise, they did talk a little bit about the rural access infrastructure program. They're changing some of those dates associated with that. Talked a little about Medicaid expansion. They're trying to get that on the ballot. I don't know if the state is going to do that on their own or not. So
Senator Steinhauer has a bill to increase that.
the Medicaid expansion before it goes to a vote. I'm not even sure if they gather enough signatures to get it on the vote yet.
They have till March
Okay,
3rd.
so we'll see who gets there first, if you will, but otherwise I did send out the date for the supervisor training. If any of you are interested in attending or not, it's up to you. It's not required. But the morning session is kind of filling up quick. We've got 16 already for the morning session, so that's all I've got.
Anybody else have updates? I just have Merry Christmas, everybody. That's about it. Have a safe holiday in more ways than one. Travel safe. I can tell you the hospital is filling up with COVID quite a bit, like probably as bad as it was.
The old
Early on, so-
COVID or the new variant, do you know?
I don't. I did ask my wife and she said they don't track it. South Dakota does, and those numbers aren't out yet, I don't think, or what they're doing, but.
They did have that earlier today and they.
Oh,
said
did they?
South Dakota has not had a reported case of the new variant.
Okay.
I've had 3 clients die in the last week from COVID.
But the Omicron's not supposed to be as
Card
bad.
from the county association. Thanking us for-
They're dying to get away.
Be more Scrooge-like again to bring that up, but I know everybody's tired of it, but have a safe holiday. Items for next meeting. IT approval is gonna be on there.
So, and this would be our Tuesday meeting.
The IT, you want.
Can
for
we put
Tuesday?
that,
Yep,
please?
we can put that, but.
Nothing else.
But
I don't,
So, yeah, so
54 this time.
I've been talking with. Deb,
Actually, 2 of them were
we
fully
have,
vaccinated.
You guys know a lot of.
And one was
companies
not.
that had no problems.
But they thought it was a cold, the one.
Discussion, just if it's okay with you guys about trying to create some sort of sick bank for the employees. Right now, our handbook says you can only give up to 40 hours of sick time. I don't know why keep shutting up. I don't know why it's limited to that. So if anybody has anything they'd like to mention to that, been working with Deb and I'm gonna keep looking into that. So unless anybody is totally against it.
Okay.
All right.
So with that, just so everybody's clear, meeting next Tuesday at 1 o'clock, year-end meeting. I think we should have quorum. And
Are
then
we talking about IT?
yes,
We will do IT,
that
and
meeting.
we're gonna have IT, and then the rest is just gonna be year-end.
Okay,
year end and utility bills.
Right.
just
and
wanted to
just bills that
clarify.
have to be paid.
And the next meeting after that will be January 4th, and then we've got a holiday party on the 7th. So, okay.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned.